everyone, my name is Mahsa Doorfard. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager of coinIX. coinIX is a blockchain venture capital based in Hamburg, and we make it possible for everyone to have exposure to digital assets. The stocks of our company is listed in the stock exchanges of Düsseldorf, Berlin, München, so we make it possible for retail investors to buy cryptocurrencies indirectly, because usually it's very complicated for most of the people. Like if my grandmother wants to invest, she doesn't really know what to do, but using traditional finance assets, we make it possible. So, enough about coinIX. Today we're going to talk about DePIN. Before I dive deep into it, let me do a little pulse check. How many of you already know what is DePIN? Raise your hand if you know. One. Okay. And how many of you already know what is blockchain? Okay. And how many of you have already invested in blockchain? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And how many of you have your own crypto wallet, so not through the exchanges? Okay, not bad. So we have some professionals in the class. Perfect. Good. So the topic that we're going to talk about today is going to use the same principles of blockchain to create a network of users that will create the infrastructure. We're going to get deep into that. But before I explain what is DePIN, there are some specific topics related to blockchain and cryptocurrencies that we need to understand in order to grasp the idea of DePIN. So here you can see the evolution of the internet. Web 1, you probably didn't experience Web 1. That's the time when we had Yahoo Messenger and we had to write the username passwords to chat with someone, and we heard that sound when we wanted to get connected with dial-up. So in Web 1, you could only read. You couldn't interact. You couldn't write comments. You couldn't be influencers and create content. You could only watch and read. In Web 2, we are currently in this sector, you were not only able to read, but you could also create. You could have an Instagram account, you can have a TikTok account, you can send funny videos on WhatsApp to your family, you can video call with your friends, you can share something on Facebook, you can write comments, like it, unlike it. So there are so many activities that you can do as creators. So you can read and write. This is a platform-based economy that we have at the moment at the internet. The third wave of the internet is the token economy. So you can not only read, write, you can also own and execute. You can do transactions. Here, when you wanted to get connected to a website, you had to give your username and password. In Web 2, nowadays, when you want to log into a website, you have some options. You see, log in with Google, log in with Apple, and so on. This is Web 2. In Web 3, when you want to get connected to a platform, they want your wallet. So your wallet, your crypto wallet, will be your identity in Web 3. And the thing is that they don't really care where you're from. Are you coming from a country which is sanctioned? Which ethnicity do you have? Are you a man or you're a woman? How old are you and everything? They are not important at all. They just need one wallet address from you. Decentralization. Imagine I have a piece of paper with me and I have very important information on it, maybe the password to something very valuable. If I just put it here on my drawer or in a dashboard somewhere, or if I create a Word document and put it on my laptop, it's not really safe because there is a single point of failure. If anything happens to that piece of information, if anything happens to the drawer, if that paper is gone, then all my information is gone because there is a centralized point, because all the information is in one specific point. But how about we store it on some different locations all around the world, in different cities, different countries, and all of them will have the same information, then we can say that it is much more safer, because if one of these went down, the others are still there. So it's going to be so much more safer, and it will be more resilient. Nowadays, most of the companies that we have are centralized. Most of the structures, organizations that we have are centralized. But in the Web 3 world, we want to move towards decentralization so that we don't have one specific point of power, so that we can divide power among everyone. If, for example, me as the CEO of a company, if I decide to stop working, if I decide to give up my job and go away, in a centralized world, the company will also vanish. But in a decentralized world, it doesn't matter if the co-founders stop working, or if the CEO goes away, or if the CTO goes away, because the participants of the community are the ones who are running the system, who are making decisions. So that's why we say decentralization is very important, and that's the basic of blockchain. That's the foundation of DePIN and everything that we deal with in Web3. But what is blockchain? Blockchain is thousands of distributed ledgers all around the world, and each one of them is saving the same information that the other distributed ledgers have. With the blockchain, all the information will be saved in a block, and the blocks will be chained together cryptographically, so you can do an audit of the prior history. So everything is completely transparent. You can see the exact transactions. For example, if I have your wallet address, if I know that one specific wallet address is dedicated to you, I can follow all of your transactions. I can see what exactly have you bought, what DeFi activities have you done, where have you invested, to whom, to which wallet addresses have you transferred your money. So everything is completely transparent on blockchain. Smart contracts are computer programs, small computer programs, or transaction protocols that can create and move and transform data on the blockchain. Just imagine some codes that are living on the blockchain. When a specific factor is triggered, the execution will happen, the transaction execution will happen. For example, I say if X and Y happens, transfer 50 euros from wallet A to wallet B. This is what smart contracts do. So there will be no human intervention. I don't have to do anything. The other party doesn't have to do anything. Everything is completely automated and based on codes. And smart contracts will bring so much more integrity in the business, because both parties will keep their promises without having any third party in between. So we are not going to need any third party clearing houses to do this kind of transactions. Everything will be completely peer-to-peer and automated. DeFi, or decentralized finance, is built based on all of these theories, based on decentralization and based on blockchain. In the normal world, here, this is the normal world that we have. And if you want to send money to your friend, to your family, or receive money, there is always a central authority. It can be the bank, it can be PayPal, it can be anyone who has all the power. Maybe you want to transfer something to a website and the bank says, oh, you want to do gambling? I don't like that, so I don't let that transaction happen. So you cannot do that. Or the bank says, oh, you want to buy crypto? I don't like that, so I don't let you do this transaction. Or you want to send money to Iran? Oh, that country's sanctioned. I don't let you do that because I don't like that. So this third party can decide about your whole life. They can decide whether you do that transaction or not. But in the Web3 world, in a decentralized world, no one knows what you're doing. No one can control what you're doing. Even if they have your wallet address, everything is transparent. If you do fraud or anything, that will be completely visible to everyone. And this is what we're trying to achieve in the Web3 economy. All the activities that we do in traditional finance is also available to be done in DeFi or decentralized finance as well. You can do lending, borrowing, trading, you can earn interest rates, you can do all the financial activities, but instead of fiat money, you are going to use cryptocurrencies. That will be so much more inclusive, because in the real world, if you want to do financial activities, you need to go through a lot of process. You need to do KYC, you need to have a bank account. In some parts of the world, people are not even allowed to have a bank account, or they don't even know what kind of activities, financial activities exist that they can take part in. So it's very much more inclusive. It can also be dangerous, so you need to be very careful if you want to do it yourself, because there are so many DeFi protocols which went bankrupt. There are many DeFi protocols which were frauds, they were scams. So it's a really interesting market, but you need to be very careful of where you put your money in, and you have to be able to do a completely perfect due diligence to understand whether that's a good protocol to invest in or not. DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So as I said, most of the companies that we have right now are like this. There's a CEO, then we have the managers, then we have the employees. There is always a hierarchy. There is always someone who has the most power and the others don't have a lot of power. And if this one goes away, the others don't have anything to do, or the company will completely vanish. But in a DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization, everybody will make the decisions together. Everything is based on smart contracts. So for example, if I, as one of the members of a DAO, want to make a decision, or if I want to change something, or if I want to change the role of someone in the DAO, I can give a proposal. I give a proposal, then we will do some voting, and everyone can vote based on the number of the tokens that they have. We usually have governance tokens in DAOs. Governance tokens give you the ability to vote on decisions regarding to DAO, and you can all take part in this decision making. So this is what we do in a DAO. This is not something futuristic. It exists at the moment. For example, we have invested in a DAO which is called Ex Machina. This is a robotics DAO. So they have a pool of money, they put all the money in that pool, and they find interesting robotics company to invest in, and it's completely like this. It is a DAO system, so there is no CEO, there is no employees. You can be a part of that DAO. If you buy tokens, you can just join them, you can give them ideas, hey, let's invest in that company or this company, and so on. So you can also be a part of it. Token is a value on the blockchain. For example, if I have a crypto company, I can issue a token on the blockchain that represents a small fraction of my ecosystem, of my project. That is what we call a token. We have different types of tokens. We have utility tokens, we have governance tokens, we have stable coins. Governance tokens are usually used in DAOs when you want to make decisions regarding the ecosystem. Utility tokens are usually used in, they usually have some kind of use case. For example, you can use it to join some kind of metaverse, or you can use it to do some things on the platform or the protocol. And stable coins are usually pegged to another asset. For example, USDT and USDC, they are the most important and the most famous stable funds that we have in the market, and they are pegged to the US dollar. They always try to be stable around $1. In the future, the companies, when they want to raise funds, they are not going to do an IPO. They're going to do an ICO. Instead of initial public offering, they're going to do initial coin offering, because that's so much more transparent and so much easier. So in the traditional world, when you want to raise funds, you will just share some stocks with the people. People will buy the stocks of your company to have a little share of your company. But when you share tokens, that's another world. So let me share some real life examples of our company. So we are a blockchain VC. We usually invest in the form of SAFT and SAFE. SAFE is the abbreviation of Simple Agreement for Future Equity. That means the equity is not there yet, but we can invest as institutional investors. We will have a contract. Whenever the equity is there, we will get our part of it. And SAFT, that is the abbreviation of Simple Agreement for Future Token. That means you have the opportunity to invest before the token is even issued, before the token is even listed. So most of the time when you see some kind of hype project on Twitter or somewhere, when everyone are talking about a token, it's already ready to invest in it. But when you invest as a SAFT, when the token is not there yet, but you did the due diligence on the team and you know that they are building something valid and very useful, that would be a great investment idea. The CEO of our company always says that token is the next stock market. We believe that in the future, most of the companies that want to raise funds, they will issue a token, because that's so much easier. If you want to buy a token, you don't need a bank, you don't need to do KYC, you don't need to do anything. All you need is internet access. If you have internet connection, you can buy a part of that company. Tokenization is one of the use cases of blockchain. You can literally tokenize anything. That means you represent your assets on the blockchain as a token. For example, I can tokenize wine, I can tokenize jewelry, I can tokenize real estate, I can tokenize pieces of art, anything can be tokenized. Here's a real life example. Imagine there is a very expensive real estate that you really want to invest in, but you don't want to live there, you just want to buy it and sell it to make profit. So you don't have enough money to buy that real estate, but through tokenization, you can have a partial ownership of that asset. So what you can do is through smart contracts, you can tokenize the asset and you can buy a small fraction of it, and then you can sell it whenever you want to make your profit. So this is one of the use cases of tokenization. What you see here, this is the interface of the company Finexity. We have invested in this company in 2020. They are also based in Hamburg, and if you go to their platform, you can see so many different assets that they are tokenizing. You can invest in cars and wines and anything. If you don't have the whole money for it, you can pay a small part of it to be one of the owners. Tokenomics is the mixture of token and economics. Tokenomics gives you all the information that you need to know about one token, a token that is listed by a project. For example, how is this token going to be distributed? How is this token going to be created? What is the value accrual mechanism? And is it going to be distributed based on KPIs, or is there going to be a fixed issuance and so on? So all the information that you need to know about a token is included in tokenomics. At coinIX, as a blockchain VC, we always pay a lot of attention to the tokenomics of the projects. There are also some projects that actually don't need a coin. They don't need a token, but they just want to use the hype and use the buzz and say, hey, we have a token, we are a part of this Web3 world and so on. So you should always pay attention to the tokenomics of the project to see if they are really giving you value or not. Now we get to the interesting part. DePIN, or Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. You all probably use Google or Apple or Microsoft. They all are capturing, gathering information from you, and you probably know it. That's why when you talk to one of your friends about a vacation in Thailand, the next day you see some advertisements on Instagram or Facebook about the exact vacation that you were talking with your friends, because they are gathering information about you. And let's be honest, have you ever read these terms and conditions when you click on accept? I personally have never done that. So there are so many things that we are agreeing to without even knowing. So they are gathering information from you, and they're not using it for bad things. They are using it for showing you advertisements. They are using it for improving their maps, improving the applications that they are offering to the users. But what if you can monetize this data? What if you can earn money as you are giving them your data? You can choose which information you want to share, and you will get money instead of it. That's so much better, isn't it? This is what DePIN, or Decentralized Physical Infrastructure, makes it possible. So in DePIN, we use blockchain to incentivize the users so that they build the infrastructure for us. We are not going to build the infrastructure for our company. People will do it. You will do it for us. For example, a very easy to understand example is Uber. Like Uber, that's not a Web3 company, but they didn't buy millions of taxis and hire millions of drivers. What they did was they used the cars that people already had. The people who were already having their vehicles, who were already driving, gave their service to Uber. So that was much cheaper for them instead of buying their own cars and hiring their own fixed paid customers and employees. So in DePIN, we try to pay some money in the form of tokens to users so that they build the infrastructure for us. It can be computing, it can be GPUs, wireless networks. There are so many different examples. In the further slides, I will give you more real-life examples so that you understand how exactly it works. So in the DePIN world, we have two different sections. We have the physical resource networks and digital resource networks. So the digital resource networks are bandwidth networks, storage, compute, And the physical resource networks are wireless networks, geospatial networks, mobility, agriculture, energy, and health networks. And what you see here, this is the whole ecosystem of DePIN. There are so many more projects that are not included at this map at the moment, but this is how it looks like. Here you can see also the subcategories in each section, and every one of these, they are blockchain projects, DePIN projects, which are making it possible for people to earn some money as they are providing infrastructure. But how does it work? So you all have some storage spaces at your home. You have hard drives, you have a computer, maybe you do computing activities, maybe you have GPUs, servers, so many other things. Maybe you are a gamer and you have very professional stuff at your home, a great setup. And maybe there are some parts of your setup that you're not really using. So you will rent it out to other people who need them. And then you use this network of DePIN, and then you will get incentivized. You will get tokens instead of what you do. The difference between the traditional films and DePIN is huge. So one of the differences is ownership. So in traditional systems, everything is completely controlled by some specific shareholders, a few shareholders. So it's completely centralized. But in DePIN, the whole system is completely decentralized. For example, Google Maps, it's completely centralized. It's controlled by Google. But there is another project called Natix and another project called Hivemapper. I will introduce it in the further slides. They are completely decentralized. So you can be a part of that. You can earn money and you can also add information to that. And the control. In traditional companies, the control is concentrated. In DePIN, it's distributed among everyone. Operational costs. DePIN is self-sustaining. It's so much cheaper when you as the users, you are building the infrastructure. That means you're saving a lot of money for the company. So if you have your own company in the future, and somehow you can use the DePIN and you can use the people to build the infrastructure for you, you can save a lot of money. And regarding funding, that would be so much easier. If you have a normal company in the traditional world, if you want to raise money, if you need to get funds, you have to go to credit givers, you have to go to banks, you have to prove that you can pay that money back, and it's going to be a whole paperwork and it's going to be so complicated. But if you do it through DePIN and Web3, you can just issue a token and you can easily get money for your project. So the differences between the traditional finance world and the DePIN world is completely, they are two different worlds. DePIN value accrual methods. How can you capture value if you have your own DePIN projects? There are 4 different mechanisms that the DePIN projects use to capture value. The first one is revenue sharing with the protocol. So when the protocol gets some money, gets some revenue, it will pay it back to token holders. So that means they will capture some value for the token holders. We also have the burn and mint mechanism that will create some kind of balance in the supply that will stabilize the value. When the network is used, tokens will get burned, and when you want to pay the rewards, tokens will be minted, so that will create some kind of balance in the supply. We also have buyback mechanism. Sometimes DePIN projects, when they make revenue, they will buy their own tokens in the market so that they create more value for the token. And we also have node purchase model. So in the node purchase model, users need to be active through tokens. So you need to buy the token in order to run the nodes, in order to take part in the protocol. So these mechanisms help a DePIN project to capture value. And there are also 3 different types of token incentive distributions. Some of the DePIN projects use a fixed issuance. That means the number of the blocks in the blockchain that are created will show you how much token incentives you will receive. And we also have KPI-driven issuance, which means your performance is important. For example, how many tokens have you staked? How was your performance during staking and so on. And we also had a combination of fixed and KPI driven. Until this part, most of them was theory and maybe a little not tangible and not easy to understand, but from here, we will go through real life examples so that you understand how exactly you can use it in your everyday life. There is a new term which is called EOT. EOT means economy of things. It means things like devices that you have, your laptop, your mobile phone, the things that are in your smart home, they are not just devices that we own. They can have their own economics, they can have their own wallets, they can do their own transactions. Imagine I have some solar panels on the roof of my house, and my neighbor has some electrical devices, for example, TV, anything electrical that needs electricity. My solar panels will create some extra electricity that I'm not using. Then the devices will get connected together. They will send electricity, send money, they will have their own wallet addresses, they will do the transactions without any human intervention. So I'm not going to do anything, my neighbor is not going to do anything, the devices will get connected, the devices will do the transactions. They will do everything like humans, like robots, like AI agents. So that's the concept of economy of things. peaq is one of the most famous projects in the DePIN sector. We have also invested in peaq many years ago, and that was one of the success stories in our portfolio. And what they do is that they have built a blockchain, so peaq is a blockchain that other DePINs can get built on top of them. So they provide a system, it's like a backbone, a digital backbone that makes it possible for devices, sensors, robots to get connected and to do interactions and to do transactions. And in the peaq, you see here we have peaq ID. Every single device will have a personal ID. If you have a Tesla, your Tesla will have an ID. Your Tesla will have a wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet that can automatically get connected to solar panels and get the electricity and send them money and everything. So peaq is somehow the backbone of everything that we have in the DePIN sector. If you, for example, in the future want to create your own DePIN project, or if someone else wants to create one, you don't need to build everything from the scratch. You can build it on top of peaq. So here you see at the beginning here we have peaq network, then we have all the other layers, and here we have dApps, decentralized applications, and DePINs on layer 2. So you can build on top of it, and it will give you the opportunity to manage the users, the rewards and everything, and it will save you a lot of money and time to build everything yourself. Natix. Imagine you're driving and you have a camera in front of your car. The camera is capturing information from the street, the traffic. Is there an accident on the road? Or is there any specific thing happening on the road that is going to affect the traffic lights and so on? Your camera is watching all of this information. If you download the Natix app, that's the DePIN project, they will gather all of this information, the street level, real-time data about the street that you're driving in. And you will in return get coins. You will in return get tokens of Natix. Then they will use this information to improve the maps, to use it in urban planning, to offer you better navigation. You know, some applications when you want to go to an address, they offer you some different roads. They say this one is faster, this one is not faster. So all this information will help you, will help the other users of these applications to get to the road faster. So this is, for example, one of the things that you can do. Natix is also a company in Hamburg, and we have also invested in it many years ago, and we're very satisfied with this investment. Another example from the startup community in Hamburg, Impossible Cloud Network. So Impossible Cloud Network is a decentralized network of cloud services. It is focused on computing and also storage. So if you have GPUs or servers or anything that you're not using, you can rent it out, and other people from other parts of the world, it's completely international and global, they can use your free usage spaces, and in return they will get some tokens. Another example, this is actually one of the first DePINs in the blockchain. ecosystem is Filecoin. Filecoin creates a decentralized storage system. So if you have any hard drives and you have some extra spaces that you're not using, again, like ICN, you can rent it out, people can use it, and then they will receive tokens on the other side. Akash Network is for computing. It's very useful for developers. So it will make it possible for the users to have a decentralized computing network based on cloud. And if you have some computing power that you're not using, other people can use it and you will get rewards in the form of tokens. Helium is also very interesting. It creates a wireless network. It's like the Wi-Fi, the internet that you're using. People will set up some small devices at their home or different location, and they will provide coverage, mobile coverage, internet coverage. And different companies, even individuals and retail investors, they can pay money and use this internet, use this coverage. They have a map on their website. You can go and see which parts of the world people are actually using this network, where you can use it or not. And anyone who has this device, anyone who is contributing to this system will get incentivized with tokens of this project. Hivemapper is also like Natix. It's related to roads, and as you are driving, you can just install a device. It will capture all the information in front of you. It can be your phone on an application, or it can be an external device. And then at the end, when you share the information, you will get rewards from it. This is my favorite project. The graph is like the Google of the blockchain. It's an indexing protocol for the blockchain that will prepare all the information that developers need. And we have also invested in the graph. That was one of our very successful investments. We invested around 50,000 euros, and it was in the form of a SAFT, so the token was not listed yet. And when the token got listed, the value of our investment turned to 5 million euros, so it was a really good investment. But the thing is that when you invest in the form of SAFT, there will be a lockup period. So immediately after the token is launched, you cannot sell it to make profit. But still, it was a good investment. After the token was ready to get sold, the value was around 1 million euros. And so still, it was a really great investment. So what the graph does is that it makes it possible for the developers to access blockchain data more easily. There are some subcategories which are called subgraphs. And then users like me and you, we can go and index these information, index these subgraphs, so that the developers can access the information more easily. Then we, as indexers, we will get tokens of the graph. Fetch.ai is another DePIN project. It's connecting AI and decentralization. It makes it possible for AI agents to get connected, to do transactions together, and to interact with each other. All these AI agents can do different things for you. They can do bookings, they can optimize the energy costs for you, they can work on your behalf, they can do whatever that a normal human can do. But when we use it in the DePIN ecosystem, they will also have their own wallets to do the transactions. Daylight is also a very interesting device. It will connect your devices like solar panels or batteries to the energy market, so that you share the information that your devices have with the market, and at the same time you will get tokens, you will get rewarded. Dimo is also related to cars, but it's not like Natix and Hivemapper. You will not share the information of the road. You will share the information of your car, about the performance of your car, how you're driving, how exactly is it functioning. It will be used for better insurance, for better optimizations, and it has many different use cases. But as you are sharing the information of your car, you will also get incentivized. You will get tokens of Dimo. Geodnet is also a very interesting company. They are focused on locations, but the information that they share is much more precise than GPS. You will have some specific devices. They are called some ground-based stations. Normal people can have it and use it in different locations, and they will help to create a better map. And as you're doing it, you will earn tokens as the other projects. WeatherXM is the last example that I'm going to introduce to you. You can set up some kind of hotspots, some kind of stations that gather the information about the weather. For example, is it windy? What is the temperature? Is it humid? It's not. Then you will send this information to the app and you will earn money as you are doing it. Using tokens and using DePIN, we will have a new framework in the finance world. So instead of relying on one specific company, you can rely on thousands of participants all around the world which have the same goals as you. So when we align the goals of the investors, operators, users, everyone, then we will have a great network that everyone will get what they want. You will get incentivized and the companies will not have a lot of expenses to create these infrastructures. Thank you for your attention.